Okay, so I can't do dark magic. I can't. But reading, I like being nosy sometimes. So I'll pull cards and see what's going on. Like, I didn't pull today, but sometimes I'll pull, okay, I have a show. Let me pull on that. I believe in manifestation, the law of manifestation. So I do a lot of attraction, spell work for myself.
Okay. Nikki Supreme.
Ah, shit.
You're on Checkitow.
I'm here finally.
This is
Finally.
This is so funny because I mean, look, let me just give people a preview as to what they're gonna hear. We'll go from the most recent to what are the things that you were working on when I first met you a couple years ago.
Okay.
You're doing comedy now.
Yes.
Saw you perform the other day.
Yes.
Funny as hell.
Thank you.
You also the Lady of Raider Nation.
Our Lady.
Of Raider Nation, like Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes.
And people are gonna, I know we got some Raiders fans watching, so
Go Raiders.
we'll get into that and how you became that. But you also deal with, the supernatural. Can we say positive brujeria, or do sometimes you have to go into dark brujeria too, or
it's without darkness there is no light. Okay. But I don't practice any of the darker stuff. Doesn't mean my friends don't, but just so you guys know. But it's the lighter side. It's a lighter side.
Like because it overlaps with a lot of like the new age spirituality that like I'm into.
It does. It goes over chakras. It goes over astrology, which you were teaching me about astrology.
Right.
It goes over energy work, Kundalini, Reiki. It's the lighter stuff.
So we'll work our way back to the personality, the Raider Nation, the comedy stuff that you're doing. But let's go with this because when I first met you at the airport. In fact, on my phone, you're still Nikki Airport.
Yes.
And I remember there was one seat in the middle, and you're like, oh, I don't bite or something like that. And so I sat down and we started talking, and you were on your way to Salem, Massachusetts.
Yes.
And you were talking about, and then I started following your Instagram, which you have a following there, and you do a lot of, you talk about like witchcraft, spirituality, cards, tarot, all that kind of stuff. So how'd you get into that, and like how did it become like a part of like your personality online?
My divorce. My divorce.
That does it for everybody.
I was like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. Sorry, my bad. No, because I was raised Catholic, and in Catholicism, you're not supposed to divorce. So I was like, this isn't for me. This just doesn't sit well. But I always believed there was more than, Jesus, God. I believed in reincarnation, and I dabbled in astrology a little bit. So it kind of opened my doors. And I remember the first tarot deck I bought was like an Archangel tarot deck. And I was like, okay, this is cool because I'm not really like going against God, kind of, right? But now I do all sorts of random shit. So that's how I got started.
And now when I met you, you actually, so I'm an Aries and you are, Sagittarius.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the brimming, like deeper fire at the end of the astrological chart. But you also taught me about look up your house of Lilith.
Your Lilith, yes.
Yeah. And mine is in Leo.
Yours is in Leo.
So what is house of Lilith? Because I ask people about that a lot.
So it depends on the house, right? So there's the 12 houses. Wherever that planet or wherever Lilith is, that's the house, but it also depends on a sign. So my Lilith is in my 6th house, but it's in the sign of Sagittarius. So when it's
double Sag.
I'm insane, but a good insane. Yeah. So it depends. So being that it's in the 6th house, you take on a lot of the Virgo traits, right? You take on the Virgo traits, and it takes a lot of the Sagittarius traits.
Right. Okay. Now, when did you start, because when I started, after I met you, you started, doing a lot of this stuff online on Instagram, where you started talking about astrology and as it relates to sexuality a lot, right, in relationships.
It does.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, people are like, oh, I'm this, I'm a Leo, so, I should date, I'm really good in sex or whatever. But the thing is it's not just your sun sign, right? Like, that's the Scorpio thing, my bad. Scorpio's like, I'm a Scorpio, I'm so good at sex. Well, let me see your Mars and your Venus and I'll tell you. And then based off your Mars sign for men, you can tell how big their penis is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's hilarious.
Isn't that right?
But okay, so what do people in your life, like growing up, family, old school friends, what did they think when you started, number one, doing the astrology stuff, which again, Catholic, conservative kind of people, you're from the IE, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really messing around with this frou-frou Hollywood stuff. And then you're combining with this, you're very open about sexuality.
I think sexuality should be embraced.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I can't speak on a lot of people, but my own opinion is it should be embraced. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that the deeper you go with yourself, the deeper you can go with a partner. And I think it's something that's beautiful to be shared. I don't know. I'll talk about it all day. I was 18 when I first lost my virginity, but...
Now, do you find, because you exude a lot of sexuality,
I know.
do you find that's intimidating to not only men, which I'm sure you intimidate men, but also like women around you?
Oh yeah, I don't have. A lot of women don't like me when I go places. It's funny. Saturday I went to a country western bar, and I asked a gentleman to light my cigarette, and his lady came out real quick. I got circled up. Me and my girlfriend. It had a country western bar. It's the craziest shit ever.
That stuff happens to you a lot.
It happens to me a lot. Yeah, I'm used to it.
You kind of need like girlfriends that are kind of confident in their own bosoms.
Yeah, I have a very amazing group of friends. You got to meet Dina.
Yes.
I need confident women around me.
Yeah.
Confident men, confident women.
All right, so Our Lady of Raider Nation. So now you by this point, I remember the first time I saw you, I'm like, what is she doing? Because I'm thinking, when I first met you at the airport, I'm not thinking football fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're taking out tarot cards, you're very womanly. I'm like, well, she doesn't care about first downs and who's starting at safety. But see you all decked out with this beautiful dress and on the sideline of like a Raiders, Rams game. How'd you get into football first and foremost, the Raiders secondly, and how did you decide, okay, I'm going to go in full costume to these football games?
Okay. First things first, I'm actually a real football fan. I grew up playing soccer, coached soccer. Soccer is my number one. Okay. In regards to American football, my ex-husband was a Raiders fan. That kind of stuck. And having gone to games and stuff, and during quarantine, I was kind of like, I'm going to come in as a super fan, I'm going to show up for my team.
And you're definitely going to stick out as a super fan because it's all guys in these crazy costumes. There's not these beautiful women. And
yeah, and then I have a home costume. I have an all-white one as well. So that's kind of how it got started. I remember I got booked to host the Tropicana for the draft. Maybe after suiting up for a couple months.
Wow.
And it caused a lot of ruckus within the Raider
Why?
Nation. We're Raider Nation, we're family, but there's a lot of insecurities and jealousy. It really is. Men that have been doing it for years blocked me.
Right.
Or had issues because I got booked.
Right.
This is a predominantly male watching sport.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want a woman?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
And you fit the vibe of you have the black hair, I think for you also is you kind of like the branding of the team. It's black and silver. They're they're the bad. It's supposed to be the bad boys.
Yeah, the bad side.
Yeah.
I'm a little dark.
Okay, but do you honestly do you pay attention to the game?
I do pay attention to the game.
Okay.
I went to a few games last year. Again, this jacket, Max Crosby. His mom made me this, Vera Crosby. She's a party animal.
Wow.
She's so dope. She's so dope. And actually, she does photography. And Josh Jacobs, Filipino player, not playing really right now. They didn't do the franchise tag. We got Jimmy G as the quarterback. Jimmy G is dating a porn star. So we're just kind of hoping he doesn't sprain his dick before the season.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, in a lot of ways, you're perfect as a woman in terms of dealing with dudes. You understand dudes very well. But isn't that a blessing and a curse?
Man.
Doesn't it, as much as it opens doors, doesn't it close them too? Guys
dating was very much, I put it out there that I was celibate.
Right.
So that closed a lot of doors that needed to be closed.
Oh, okay.
Being pretty gets me in a lot of places that a lot of people can't go.
But you're also willing to go to spots that are you're not afraid, right?
No.
You're down to deal with the street, gritty Raider Nation fans. You're very.
I worked at a dive bar for 5 years.
Yeah, where?
In La Habra.
Okay, so
Guadalajara.
So what? Okay, tell me the craziest story that you have to deal with. What?
I had a guy jack off during my shift at the bar.
Were you a bartender?
I was bartending.
I told the people upstairs, I'm like, listen.
Sorry, guys.
So this is gonna be a saucy episode, okay? But was he like on drugs? What made him feel that?
He ordered a drink. He sat down, and I was restocking and stuff. And I turn around and I see his arm moving, and I was like, "Oh, this is not cool." I ran in the back. I locked myself in the office. I called the police. I called my
Was
manager.
he the only one there?
He was the only one there, and he went to town, finished and everything.
Jeez Louise. Were you, do you ever find yourself having to be like a psychologist for a lot of these people?
That's why I don't bartend anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't, it's just too much energetically to take on. Like when I was younger, I could deal with it. Now that I have kids and my own shit that I'm trying to put my energy into, I can't absorb all their shit.
Now, so what made you want to start comedy? And we have a mutual friend who was on the show, Stephanie Tejada.
Yeah.
So, did you become friends with people like her and decide, hey, I want to get up and try? How'd you?
So the first time I did it was during quarantine. I did a couple of backyard shows, whatever. And then I was like, you know what? This is actually something that I think I could do, and I'm pretty good at it. I've got a ton of material.
Right.
Ton of material. It's just a matter of executing it, and I think I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Yeah. So what do you think about the life of because when you start out doing comedy, I did comedy for a couple of years. There's a lot of going out. It's always at night.
Yep.
Hanging out, waiting for your spot. You're thinking about what you're gonna say. You don't want to get too buzzed up because then you'll slip with your words when you're up on stage. That kind of thing. Sometimes you're dealing with a crappy crowd.
Yeah. I dealt with a predominantly Karen crowd.
Where?
In Laguna. A month or two ago.
Was it white women?
It was all older white people.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I show up and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck. It was okay, whatever. I matched through it.
Did you talk to any of them after the show?
Yeah, well, they were all Raiders fans. You're a Raider
okay.
fan. Doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth.
Yeah. Okay. But why do you say you dealt with a couple Karens? How did they Karen up on you?
They just the looks.
The looks.
The looks, which I'm used to. Like I said, and I'm older now, and I'm used to it.
Okay.
Used to it.
Okay. And what allures you to someone like the dark stuff, like the brujeria and that aspect of spiritual, supernatural, mystical stuff?
Okay, so I can't do dark magic. I can't. But reading, I like being nosy sometimes. So I'll pull cards and see what's going on. I didn't pull today, but sometimes I'll pull, okay, I have a show. Let me pull on that. I believe in manifestation, the law of manifestation. So I do a lot of attraction, spell work for myself.
Okay. Do you mind giving me a little freebie since you're on the show? What's a good way for me to manifest some of the things I've been working on hard, but I feel...
So do you have a vision board?
Yeah. I mean, not an official one, but
okay.
I mean...
I would literally take the time to... Take the time. It's energy.
Okay.
Put what you want on it. Cut pictures out. I've done...
Could it be a digital vision board with Photoshop?
Nope. It needs to be hung up.
What if I print it out?
I mean, you can print it out. Okay. But come on, dude. Why are you trying to cut? You're going to cut corners. Spirit's going to cut corners on you.
Okay, well, then...
It's energy.
Because I'm thinking, where am I going to find the pictures?
You cut them out. You print them off at Walgreens. So my vision board is insane.
Perfect.
So on top of that, I have an altar set up with crystals.
I have that.
So you want to do lodolite, pyrite, citrine. Citrine is I always wear my citrine.
What was the other ones?
Lodolite, pyrite, citrine, rutilated quartz.
Rutilated quartz.
Those are all good for manifestation and bringing things in. So if you want love, you throw in a rose quartz or a ruby, whatever, right? So mine's all money. Mine's all that type of stuff. It's funny.
I'm there for the money. So you're saying ludolite, citrine,
Yes.
rutilated quartz.
Pyrite. Did you put pyrite?
Okay.
You can do green aventurine.
Green aventurine.
And then the herbs would be catnip, bay leaves, basil, and then to make things go quicker, dragon's blood is my trick.
Dragon's blood is an herb?
I use dragon's blood. It's a resin.
But
you can get it crushed. You can get it in oil. You can get it in
where do you put that?
In the oil, in the candle. So I like to. This is the way my brain works. If it's a tea light, my spell or whatever will be quicker versus the big candles.
Okay.
I use tea lights all day. Sometimes I use birthday candles.
Okay.
And then you have that below your board, and you just have to release. Once you can release, spirit will. Once you have full trust in spirit taking you on your journey.
Yeah.
Shit just comes.
Well, look, a lot of things are coming now. I just need, and it's all very close. It's more about getting across the finish line. I'm way past the starting point on these things, and.
So then, what do you think your blockage is?
one thing, literally the writer's strike, because I'm trying to sell a show. But no, there has to be something spiritual. Okay, so somebody told me something interesting the other day, because I've been dealing with a neck issue, and they're like, well, yes, it's structural, okay, but there's emotional ties to like injuries and
the
stuff
throat.
like that. And so you have to let go certain childhood stuff, which I already thought I dealt with, but there was like some lingering stuff, and I'm like, okay, I got a great relationship with my parents now. As a kid, it was rough. So are there any last things to maybe like talk out? Because I feel like it's already, so it's one of these things. But once I realized what needed to be said, I don't even know if it needs to be said now that I realized what needs to be said.
I would say it. I would write it out. I would burn it.
Okay.
I set everything on fire. So you're a fire sign, so you should probably utilize that as well. But one of the like exercises I like to do is I take a picture of myself.
Okay. From
like when I was like 7. And I write a letter to her about everything she's going to go through, from being made fun of. Like I got teased a lot. Like I think that's why I'm funny, is because I was an ugly duckling. So I had to have like the personality, right?
I doubt you were an ugly duckling.
I was an ugly duckling. It's okay. So, and then, being married, being raped, going through my life, right? I write her a letter and I'm like, dude, you're a bad bitch. You're going to go through all these things. And then it's a good emotional purge. And sometimes when you rewrite it, right, because something I do, something will trigger like another memory. Oh shit, I forgot about this part. So it's just really good to get things out.
Wow. There is something about releasing and letting go, right? It's part of the action, because you talk a lot about manifesting, right?
Yes.
But some people think that manifesting, all they have to do is wish for something. It's more than that.
It's so much more.
Yeah.
It's so much more. And then a lot of times you can want some things, but Spirit's like, you're not even ready for it yet. You're not even ready for it yet. So even though you want all this stuff, are you at a place where you can keep it? So Spirit won't give it to you.
Wow. In terms of, okay, so here's one thing, because you're tapped into the shadow and tapped into the dark in a brave way, but also with a foot in the light, and you're a mom, and you have a lot of courageous energy around you that I think you spread to people around you, which is one of your positive
yeah, I know.
qualities.
It's everywhere. I'm sorry.
We're scrappy. Okay. But wait, God damn it, this always happens to me. Hold on, going back to. I had it in my head. Put the idea back in my head. Manifesting. It was
the dark side.
The dark side, yes, the dark side. Oh, so one time I was having the psychedelic experience, and this was like a year and a half ago. Actually, at the start of when I started working on the things that I'm working on now, that I've come a long way, right? And a lot of the hard part's actually done, right? In a lot of ways. And I got people to rally around me, and I got I put my money where my mouth is, invested in a bunch of stuff. But it started off with this one trip that I did by myself, and I was going into this vision where I was ascending into like this gladiator coliseum, and there were these like half gladiator, half samurai entities and beings all around me, and I was ascending up, and they were like kind of welcoming me into like what success means. It's not easy. You're gonna have to do hard stuff. Success doesn't come easy. So when you're ready to do the hard stuff, you'll be ready. And I was ascending, and I was kind of tapping into their good luck flow as I saw it. Like when you start doing the hard work, all of a sudden good luck is starting to work with you, right? Instead of breaking a curse that you're hoping to. And so I started tapping in, and I was in front of this one entity, and I call them entities, spirits, whatever. And I started feeling, because I started feeling like, okay, you're gonna ascend into where you want to ascend to, everything that you've been working for, everything you've been asking for, you're ready. And then at the last second, I thought, oh my God, am I making a deal with the devil? Am I selling my soul? And everything just disappeared. And then I felt bad. I'm like, I shouldn't have doubted.
Yeah.
It wasn't the devil, and even if it was, it's not the point. It's like, just go, dude. Like, maybe there's an aspect to that you have to just go through. And so being reluctant and being scared of being, because a lot of times when I have all these experiences, where they're under psychedelic, substances or not, just meditation, I am afraid of getting like possessed, because I feel that it's real.
I mean, possession's real, but
or getting cursed or attached with a dark energy. As someone who understands dark energy, what do you think about that?
Attachments are real.
Right.
Curses, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
I kind of feel like at least with what you're doing, everything you told me is like you block your own blessings because you have self-doubt.
Okay.
My advice is at some point you're really going to have to just release everything to spirit. And that's hard. It's not easy.
Now, what does that mean?
Not having expectations of an outcome.
Okay.
It's about really enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we have an idea of how things are going to go or how we're going to get from point A to B, right? Like we're like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, right? A lot of times I've learned in my own experiences, because I let spirit fucking throw me wherever I'm going to go, and it ends up being better than what I thought. Spirit sees farther than we can. But if we're still having these doubts and thinking we're selling our soul to the devil, you're blocking your own blessings.
So you're absolutely right. And I did come away with, like if I would have told that story to like my really religious Catholic grandmother, rest in peace.
You would have an exorcism.
Yeah, no, she would have been like, yeah, that was the devil. Like, what are you doing having psychedelic experiences and sitting with entities? Or maybe she wouldn't have. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, my dad thinks I play with the devil.
Yeah. So, but my gut told me no. Like, why did you fear the doubts? Shoot it all away.
We limit ourselves. That's why, like, my vision board looks absolutely ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But I'm like, it's gonna happen. I don't know, fuck, whatever.
But, I mean, I'm really impressed with what you've done the past couple of years, because you went from this sexy, provocative, edgy chick I met at the airport who just started. I think you started your IG page like right after, started putting tarot cards, whatever, the occasional, sexy bruja picture, Raider Nation, the following. And you developed the following, and you're from, Chino, can we say?
Well, I'm originally from Fullerton, Orange County, but I live in Chino, yeah.
But like the IE, like a lot of people think of LA and it's like this side, the West Side, Hollywood, but like over there, you built like a following online. So, I mean, what was did you make the vision board at the time? Did you set out to do that?
I had different vision boards. I do one every year. So that's something that I do religiously for myself. I sit there with my girlfriend, we order pizza, drink wine, and cut out shit. Pull cards, see what we got to, we put our energy into it. And I don't know, it's just kind of, I let spirit take the wheel.
Right. So you say that there's a lot of there's the Karens, there's a lot of women that like get intimidated by your vibe or turned off, but there's also the women that get inspired by your vibe, right?
Yeah.
The women who want to be themselves, who want to unleash themselves on whatever level, whether it's their sexuality, whether it's creativity, whether it's just their personality. They get inspired by you.
Yeah.
And they're usually like the women that like probably dealt like you, like haters in the class, because they didn't and were repressed by people around them, other women, men who wanted to temper down their energy. Like how? So tell me about that aspect and how you seek to kind of like inspire like chicks like you.
I have a very strong group of women that I roll with. A lot of my readings though are women who want to get up to that level, right? Women who don't embrace their sexuality or are afraid, or they've been conditioned, due to prior relationships that they can't dress a certain way or do a certain thing. And I'm a Sagittarius. I don't like to be told what to do. I want to be free. I cannot feel confined or constricted.
Right.
A lot of people don't like me because of that. And there's the women that do. So the women that come to me, even where I'm at, I feel insecure. I have my days where I'm like, I don't like this. I don't feel good. It is what it is. It's a natural thing. But at the end of the day, I'll fake it. I'll fake it till I make it, because I have a daughter who's watching me. And then I have, females that watch me, and I'll admit it. I do feel insecure. It's normal. It's a normal thing. So with the other women, it's just, we have our good days. We have our bad days. Boss up the next day.
That's awesome. Going back to also how you understand men very well, what advice do you ever give to men, or tough love advice do you give to men about like being better in relationships or being better in their sexual connections?
Well, I think a lot of men are stoic. They think that being vulnerable makes them look like a bitch. there's so much strength and vulnerability. So a man who's in touch with their divine feminine gives a woman a safe space to be feminine. I'm tired of rolling around in my masculine energy all the time. So I think that men should be open and honest. I know it's a tough fucking concept for a lot of people, just in general, but just be honest. Be honest with themselves. Be honest with your intentions.
Right.
Kiss a lot of frogs, man. Like,
Wait,
it's
there's a
just
lot.
been crazy.
There's a lot of frogs. Wait, what does that mean?
Like the frog in the frog.
The prince. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
there you go. No, I literally. I'm just kidding.
Those damn frogs.
And then like sexually, I think like when it comes to men, and women, just embrace it.
Yeah.
Experiment. Do weird things.
Right.
Like it's cool.
Yeah, I tell my friends a lot of that, you know, because I'm open about the fact that, like, I've been to, like, fetish
And the
parties.
tantra. Yeah. I've been to swingers club. Yeah.
And you know, I've just out of curiosity and stuff like that. It's funny because I get on the sly, some of my friends, I don't give them too many details. And I always go to a lot of these parties I go by myself or I take a woman. I don't take my guy friends, but some of them are like, oh, take me to one of those. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
kinda
taking.
weird.
You have to. No, because or like you can, or I can tell them about it, but no, it's like, I don't want you there. I don't want my friends at this party while I'm exploring my.
Because they're probably not elevated enough to handle it.
Yeah, and also I guess I feel freer of like judgment if when I go to these parties that there's no one that I already know there. You know what I'm saying? But
get that.
but I'm within like the sane confines of the things that turn me on. I've seen some stuff that definitely goes beyond the pale of what would turn me on. But I guess to each their own to a certain degree where it's like, okay, I mean, there's some, and this is me being judgy. There's some things that I'm like, okay, I'm not connecting how that's sexy or that.
Okay, like what? I need an example.
Stuff like, being objectified to the point where you're not even a sexual object. You're like an ashtray or like a toilet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that stuff's not sexy.
You know what I'm saying? Or people that like, you know, or anything that deals with, not to be too gross, like fecal.
Yeah, that's not sexy.
Like,
No. We don't go there.
You know, so
Yeah,
I
that's
get
not sexy.
that's where like sexual, because some people will be like, well, you can't judge because you
But
yourself.
you know what? Some people have those fetishes. So to each his own.
Right.
That's just not something I would partake in.
Totally. For me, I think that the sexuality is such a broad spectrum. Like there's the different tones, right? You can be just have that lovey-dovey stuff, which I think is awesome. But first, you have to get out the kinky stuff, the domination, submission, push and pull, fun little role playing. I mean, like everybody loves a spanking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To give one or take one is like that's really light, like S&M stuff that I think anybody can enjoy, and some people do probably without even thinking they're being.
Yeah.
You know, kinky. But then I think that after you kind of have that connection with somebody, or at least for myself, then I can have the lovey-dovey stuff almost. You know, it's weird.
No, I get it. You just want to get it out of the way. Let me see your chart.
Oh, yeah. No, because she's gonna tell everybody my size, my dick size. Oh, your Mars isn't. I don't know where my Mars is. I'll tell you later.
actually have your
I'll
chart
tell you later.
saved.
Okay, you said go ahead and send me a reading off camera. Okay. Okay, is that another thing that people get around you that they're like, oh shit, I don't want to give you too much information because you're gonna read too much into me depending on my astrology.
I mean, to be honest, it takes energy to tap into things.
Right.
So I try to just be human.
Yeah.
Unless spirit chimes in and they give me a warning or they tell me something, I'm just kind of trying to float as well. Like I do what I do. I try to be human as much as possible, so to speak, and just try to not know everything.
And you're an alien every once in a while.
Hell
To some
yeah.
people, right?
Yeah, I like that stuff.
Let's talk a little bit more about what men find attractive and circle back to the kind of woman you are. Because there's the classic blonde brunette. There's the classic, like, Tam's only distressed blonde, you know, like that kind of. And then there's, like, the femme fatale brunette. I'm into the femme fatale brunette. What do you think the difference, and not to simplify women into those two categories, but I mean, because you kind of exude, like, the archetype of the one, do you spot, okay, this guy's into like what I am, and oh, that guy's into like the ditzy blonde, which you're not?
I don't know. I don't really care.
Do you find that you can spot, okay, this guy's gonna be into me, but this guy's not because he's not into
no,
this
I
kinda
have
like,
no idea. I get rejected. I've gotten rejected many times. And then, okay, I'll fuck it.
What do you think about the guys that do like the femme fatale brunette?
What do I think about them?
What's going on in their like, why would they like that versus the ditzy blonde?
I look a little more mysterious.
Okay.
I mean,
dangerous.
Dangerous. I exude sexuality.
Yeah.
Might punch you.
Right.
During sex. And just in person.
Yeah.
I know I look very mysterious, and I know I exude sexuality, and it looks like I do fun things. Right?
As tough as you are, you do give people permission to be like,
have a safe space.
Yeah. Have a safe space to do dangerous things.
Do dangerous things. And do weird shit. I'm down.
The contradictions. That's amazing. Okay. Interesting. Okay. This is why you fit the Our Lady of Raider Nation, man. It's just that danger, the barbed wire, all that stuff. By the way, so how long does it take to make that outfit? Because you got a couple.
My daughter helped me with it, so it was just kind of like I ordered some things, put it together. She helped me paint it. She helped me put the glitter. She helped me with the headpiece. Like, my daughter helped me with it. So that's one reason why I love it, is that she put her hands on it, her little energy.
That's amazing. And you're going to continue doing that this year, right?
Yes.
So any plans? So what, you show up to the games?
Games, tailgates. Sometimes I get booked out for parties to host. But I do a lot of charity work. Like, there's a football, Jesus football. They have car shows. They have events. They have a comedy show. So I dress up, do charity, show up to their events, help promote. Just a lot of things. There's just so much to do.
And as far as the readings, do you do private readings?
I do.
Okay.
I do. People I know in person is fine. People I don't know, it's Zoom. So it's funny because I'll get guys to book me thinking I'm going to be all dressed up and stuff for my readings, and I'm baseball cap, no makeup. Like, what's up, dude?
That's awesome, but that's still
hey, whatever.
And so is that the way that you see? Am I missing something? So you got the Our Lady of Raider Nation, which is taken off its own. You have the comedy, and you have the reading.
The spiritual aspect.
So those are the three avenues.
Those are probably the three main avenues. Yeah.
What do you think unites all of them?
What connects all of them?
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Well, everything's connected to spirit. I'm just very multifaceted.
Why do you want to do comedy? Because I get the other ones. They fit your image.
Because healing is therapeutic. And I also do dark comedy. It's therapy. It's therapeutic for me.
Okay.
And laughter is the best thing ever.
Absolutely. And you probably laugh at like the craziest times.
I laugh at everything.
Have you ever laughed during sex?
Yeah. I laugh at everything.
Laugh with the guy or at the guy?
With, not at.
Okay. I think sometimes funny stuff. Do you remember Benny Hill? It was an English show that they used to have on PBS where he would
the Benny Hill Gang.
And there'd always be like a part where he'd be like chasing like a girl, like, and she'd be like, ah, and then the music, and he'd be like chasing. I had one girl, had the half Filipina, my fiance, that I'm like, okay, look, pretend there's a camera here watching, okay? You're just gonna and we're not gonna run. You just gotta step really fast. You're just gonna go back and forth from the living room. I'm just gonna chase you. And you're just gonna be like, oh, until I finally catch you. She's okay. This sounds so stupid.
She's always so weird.
No, she was okay. She wanted to actually, take things even farther than we ended up doing it. But she was a psychologist. So any psychologist is going to be a little kinky. All my girlfriends have been kinky, except, let me see. No, they've all been pretty open, thank God. Whenever I've dated somebody that has been a little vanilla and like stiff about it's like, oh man,
that's a turn off, yeah.
Yeah, like don't put like these hardcore boundaries on fun stuff, because I mean it's like sex.
It's like I said, my personal opinion, and I think a lot of the female friends that I hang out with.
Yeah.
It should be enjoyed.
Yeah.
Period. If you want to experiment, role play, toys, whatever, it should be experimented.
Yeah.
There's no shame.
No, the shame is the slut shaming is what we got to get rid of.
I get called that all the time.
Really?
Oh.
Even when you were being celibate?
Even when I was celibate, I went on a date with someone and he was like, "Oh, she's a whore," and I was like, "How are you gonna hate when you can't even get in?" Like, I don't understand.
Well, that's probably why they said it.
Well, which is fine. Like I said, I've been called every name in a book.
Now, do you think because you're always ready to confront, that it's almost like the spirit's like, oh, you're ready to confront, huh? Well, here's more fucking people that they're gonna tell you some shit that you gotta respond to.
I've gotten pretty good. It depends on my mood, I think, or what's going on with the stars. I'm pretty good at just not paying. The lion doesn't pay attention to the sheep.
Ooh.
So I'm just kind of like, it's not worth it. But sometimes we're like, all right, let's go. Like, let me just touch my skills up.
Yeah, let me just sharpen my knives.
Well, that Saturday, I was ready to go. I took my hoops off. I was like, all right, let me wind my hair up. Like, because there were 5 of them, and it was just me and my friend, which we could handle it. I had my knife in my pocket. Like, I was ready. I was so ready.
Nikki Supreme. Oh, that's amazing. Have you gotten spotted on the street? Have you been recognized yet?
I have a lot of bars. Like, I'll be like, oh, you're our lady, and then take pictures, and that's cool. Dodger Stadium, I got recognized. It was kind of cool because all the Dodger super fans came and took a picture with me last season.
Wait, but when you go to Dodgers fans, do you go as Raider Nation?
No.
Are you
I'm a Dodger fan. No, just a Dodger fan. I'm just a fan.
A Dodger fan.
And so, but it was cute because I'm a super fan. So the Dodger ones came over, like Hiccups came over and took a picture. Some hard helmet guy, whatever. They all came over and took a picture.
Okay, but you weren't the Dodger fan that beat up the San Francisco fans.
No,
right?
that wasn't me.
That wasn't you?
No.
Okay, we're just checking. All right, so as far as comedy, where can people see where you're performing next?
Wednesday.
Okay, well, this isn't, because it's going to be a couple weeks before this
okay.
comes out, but as far as if they go on your IG?
June. June, I have a couple in June.
Okay.
Silmar, Chino. Kelly is a Chino. So.
And so if people follow you where?
Nikki.Supreme.
They can see where you're performing. They can see your Raider Nation outfits.
Yeah, everything's linked.
Okay, amazing. All right, am I missing anything? Is there any last tidbits that
No,
or spiritual advice? I got some really good advice from you today. I wrote it down.
That's funny.
I'm gonna get the crystals. I'm gonna write a letter to my 7-year-old self. I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna make a vision board. I realized print the pictures out.
Put your work into it.
Okay, I like it. By the way, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
The kind of guy that you're, their kind of girl, like is the cool guy. Okay.
The cool guy?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, because you're the cool chick. Nikki Supreme, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on Check It Out.
Thank you.
Till next time I see you at the comedy show.
Yeah, sounds good.